Hey, welcome to the Main Stage Music weekly live stream. As always, this is Brad and Jamie right here at my side.
Yeah, just you do all the talking tonight, except for that bit of talking that I just did. You do all the rest of the talking.
Anyways, so what we were talking about tonight was actually a recommendation from a friend of ours, and that was, he said, something you guys haven't really talked about is alternate tunings. Okay, here's the challenge with alternate tunings. It's a subject that we could literally spend a lifetime talking about. So what we're going to do is just kind of give you a basic intro to how important and how fun alternate tunings can be to, let's say, maybe giving you a little extra jolt of creativity or fun in playing your guitar or whatever musical instrument.
We might like less happily say it's like invigoratingly frustrating.
Okay.
It'll give you a kick in the pants. How about that?
It will. It challenges you. But
Put all the notes you think you know all in different spots and then see where the magic takes you.
Well, and here's the thing is challenges are good things. Okay, they really are. Because challenges help kind of hone your skills and make you think differently about what you're doing. So any kind of challenge that you can do musically or creatively will make you a stronger player, more well-rounded, and more understanding of different styles. So,
unless you're too weak to make it through the gauntlet, and then you.
Well, hey,
then stuff happens.
You're gonna crack a few eggs. So, but no. That being said, so alternate tunings. Obviously, we know, and we're referring primarily with guitar because that's what we brought today. But you can technically change the tuning of any instrument that you have. Now, with guitar, I would hope that all y'all know that guitar is tuned to your standard E, A, D, G, B, E. Or as we like to call it, Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie.
Fifth. No, it's tuned to fifths with one exception, or upside down violin, right?
There you go. Upside down violin. I like that.
Well, upside down portion of the violin if it were heavier strings.
So kind of one of the easiest things a guy can do when you're thinking about, let's say, alternating the tuning of something is use a little device that, y'all, I've heard it referred to in different ways. I've heard it referred to...
Well, that's a capo.
A capo. Or a capo. Or, as some people call it, simply a clamp. And all of which are... correct, maybe? I don't know.
I thought you were going to do the South Dayton pronunciation of it. It's a capper.
Okay. No, the South Dayton is clamp.
It's clamp?
Yeah,
okay, I got you. I like capper, though.
The neat thing about a capo is, and you guys might be watching this going, I know what a capo is. Gall.
Gosh, Dad.
But we have to, we're doing this show for everybody, not just for the well-initiated, right?
Yeah, not just for you fancy elites out there.
You fancy schmancies. So the cool thing about a capo, other than if you don't know what it is, all it is it allows you to take your guitar, okay? So this one's tuned in just a standard E tuning, okay? Well, let's say that we wanted to just make it higher. Mm-hmm. It literally just clamped on the strings, and now it's higher. So what's neat about that, though, is
you're moving your nut.
Yeah. It allows you to change, use the same chord patterns that you're used to in a standard tuning, but give them a higher pitch, okay? Now, where it obviously changes the chord. It's not like you're playing the same chord, because obviously it's higher now, but you might have a certain technique, like playing this C shape, you might have this kind of... But now it has a lighter, more lilting sound that might lend some creative whatever to your song, give it a different feel. Some examples of songs that you just can't play without a capo. The iconic Beatles song, Here Comes the Sun. Okay, he just takes a standard D shape. It just isn't going to sound the same without a capo. And there's a lot of examples just like that of songs that you just can't play without a capo. So I would say, hands down, a capo is the easiest way to experiment with alternate tunings, because we've just alternated our tuning by simply applying this wherever we want.
Yeah, not to get too astrological, but you know, there are resonances and frequencies that we believe emanate from, like, you know, certain planets. There, you know, you can buy a gong, right, that's tuned to like the frequency of Mars or Jupiter or the
Interesting.
Sun. Well, you know, so you can go as far incense as you want to go with it, or you can go as far it's 5th fret or the 7th fret. But there are a few documentaries out there where, you know, different singers go into the studio and a song and they moved it somewhere else, and it arguably took on a different feel because, you know, it's moved up. And so, you know there, you know, a 440 is a pitch, and you know, a not 440 is another pitch, and there are people that hear those vibrations. Well, you obviously hear the vibrations differently, but you know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying not to get too shaman in the woods kind of whatever your chakras are doing, but I do think that, you know, singing songs in a half a pitch down or up makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
I recently got a baritone guitar, and singing conventional tunes a 5th down
it challenges you.
Well, and it does sound different.
Absolutely.
Not just being lower. So
now, additionally, so capo, important thing. So the company Kaiser, which is located in Texas, they knew, hey, people are really enjoying our product and are creating some neat things. How can we expand on this to, you know, further help some people? So they came up with some alternative capos. This model here is double D, which who doesn't like what? Anyways, so with this capo, what they've done is it's very similar to the capo I was just showing you.
You wonder why they didn't just call it double E?
I don't know. I'll tell you why. Because DD stands for drop D. So.
Oh, I thought it was cut in the center where both of these were open.
So this one right here, you'll notice has, go ahead and put it on the other camera angle there. So this one has a little notch cut right there. Oh, there you go. You can see it now. This little notch right there.
Put it against your glowing Caucasian skin.
Whereas the other one obviously continues all the way across. So what this one will allow you to do is when you apply it to your guitar on the, I guess, 2nd fret, it presses all the strings down except the low E. And what that does then is it keeps the low E open, and it gives the illusion? What's the illusion's a sight term. What is the aural term for illusion? I don't know. That's any linguists in the house.
I'm gonna go with aural illusion.
I like that. But see, now what it's done is it gives you the sound similar to a
aural
drop
illusion
D.
would have been a far cooler marketing angle than the double D.
I know, but
it's
you would
not drop D tuning. You're just playing an E.
Double Ds always attract more attention than aural illusion.
But not double E's.
Okay.
Prove me wrong.
You'll have to let us know. So that being said, what you've got is the sound of a drop D guitar, but you're not in drop D.
That's good.
Additionally, I guess if you really want to get crazy, you could move it up and see what it sounds like. Even, you know, this will start sounding like chaos. I don't know.
Well, move it all the way up to where you'd be playing. So move it up to 7, right? And then play an A.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, kind of sounds fun. And so this is an inexpensive little item that, again, will help your creativity. Here's another one. They just came out with this one. It's called the SC, or shortcut. Now what the shortcut does is it's similar to what the drop D capo did, except now you've got this little stub. So they've cut the D and they're only capoing 2 strings in the middle. So this is what this is going to sound like. So again, let's apply it to the 2nd fret like we did before, okay? And so now it's just squeezing the A, D, and G strings. Ah.
Yeah, I mean, people were doing that already, right? They were taking the full size, just hacking the rubber out so you could open up certain strings. If you had a common alternate tuning you were using, but you wanted to be able to transition quickly, you could do that. Or you didn't want to move everything down, move everything up. Look how much fun he's having. He can't quit doing it.
Dude, they're awesome. So, again, all sorts of fun little things, but this is all about alternate tuning. Now, these are without a doubt, the easiest way to dip your toe into the world of alternate tunings is buy a capo, all right? The most important thing when you're doing alternate tunings to have is a tuner, okay? Now, a tuner obviously is just a gauge. I had to explain this to a customer the other day. Again, this is not any kind of judgment, so there might be snickers, not from me, okay? A tuner will not physically turn the machines on your guitar, okay? So you don't just buy it, clip it on the headstock, and your guitar is magically in tune.
You haven't had to have that conversation
yesterday.
Before. You had that conversation yesterday.
I have that conversation weekly.
Is that right?
Yes. So, hey, we are in a very technological age, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. Now, that being said, so it's simply a digital gauge. It picks up the vibration from your guitar and lets you know what pitch the particular string is in, all right? So, but again...
What was that hoax where they're telling people you could microwave your phone to recharge it?
My favorite thing to do is if someone asks for your number, you just go, okay, it's area code 911-345-1698. Okay. Okay, don't do that, kids. That was really a bad one.
Is your refrigerator running?
Yeah. But anyways. So yeah, a tuner is very important. Now, you'd probably think, you know what they ought to come up with? They ought to come up with a tuner that fixes to a capo so that you can make sure your guitar is in tune even if it's capoed. Pretty smart, right? So it's already been done, folks. So Daddario, actually, the guitar genius Ned Steinberger came up with what he called the Artist Capo, and it's sold through the Daddario brand. The Artist Capo, as you can see, is it looks very similar to the Kaiser one that we were talking about earlier. However, it's got this little tensioner right here. You'll find that some people set their guitar strings very low to the fretboard, some a little bit higher. What the Kaiser company does is they just have a spring tension on this that they find is a good universal fit. But if you have larger frets or your strings are too high, if it's too much tension, it'll knock your guitar out of tune. And it's just not going to sound pleasant. So some people choose tuners that have a tensioner. This one has the simple mechanics of a Kaiser capo, but has that tensioner there that you can adjust the tension. Additionally,
Ned's a clever boy.
He's very clever. And if you guys don't know who Ned Steinberger is, you really need to look him up because he's a very important character in the evolution of the electric guitar. And Wild Stallions play Steinberger guitars. So anyways, if you don't know who Wild Stallions is, shame on you and watch last week's episode. Okay, but here's the other really neat thing about this capo and this capo only, is that this is the only capo that I'm aware of. If you guys know of another one, feel free to let us know, that you can purchase a small tuner and it clips to the capo. So this tuner will clip right onto this capo. That way when you're capoed up, you can actually tune and make sure that your guitar is in tune.
Yeah, I got a few of these. I like
yeah,
these.
They're great. They're great. First of all, I want to read a few comments. Thank you guys so much for watching.
What we got?
Oh, we got Trey Gray. If you haven't visited Trey yet, he is the owner of Windmill Guitars in Cleveland, Tennessee. They have a great selection of boutique effects, amplifiers, things like that. But he said, alternative tunings can be a rabbit hole. I went down a rabbit hole recently with 12-string alternative tunings. Tune standard, then tune others to thirds or fifths, or etc. Trey, you are what we like to call a guitar sadist for doing something like that. Because it's hard enough to keep a 12-string guitar in tune in standard, and now you're wanting to get all whatever with it. My hat's off to you for the effort, but I can't, in good conscience, recommend that other people follow your lead, because the mental hospital's already overloaded with people who've, pretty much lost it. So we don't need,
I think I know what that guy needs. He needs a MIDI fly, so he can change the tuning individually, digitally, each string, and do that however he wants to.
So, but anyways, thank you guys for the comments. Feel free to, keep them coming in. So, yeah, basically the first easiest way to get into alternative tunings is just use a capo. Okay, they work really well. Make sure you have a capable tuner. Okay, and then you can try some of these little alternative capos. They're kind of fun too. But if you guys feel a little more daring, we want to introduce you to what was my very first alternative tuning. Maybe it was yours as well.
What you got?
The very first alternate tuning that most guitar players learn, Garçon.
Dadgad.
No.
Oh, not
is
Dadgad.
black screen.
Black screen. It's Pip.
There we go.
It's Pip.
Is simply called drop D tuning. So all drop D tuning is you have your standard tuning, like we mentioned earlier, is E, A, D, G, B, E. You simply take your D string with your index finger here, and then play your low E simultaneously while turning the tuner down. Okay, now listen. So now you have a gauge by which to set. You can hear that they're both D. One's an octave higher than the other one. Now here's the only thing you got to caution with drop D, okay? Once you learn drop D, next slide please. Before drop D, after drop D, okay? This tuning makes you into a metal master, because you learn with this tuning that now, armed with only this tuning and a single index finger, an embossed metal zone, you can be awesome. Because watch what you can do now with one finger. Yeah.
Is that metal?
Oh, Collective Soul. I'm sorry. Let me see here. Ah.
Wasn't that like Rusted Root or something?
No. That's Soundgarden.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
Outshine. Yeah.
Outshine, yeah.
So, because I'm looking California, but feeling Minnesota.
I think you're trying to play Rusted Root. I think you were trying to play Rusted Root and you accidentally did Soundgarden.
So drop D is obviously very thick and mean sounding, and of course with the right overdrive pedal, it sounds awesome. And you can fuzz pedal, whatever. One finger, and you're awesome. But additionally, if you play a D chord,
one finger and you're awesome.
One finger. Hey. So additionally, if you play a D,
take it with you to your 70s.
Yeah, you have this really dramatic. Bon Jovi?
That was a Jason Isbell tune, I'm thinking.
Oh, really? See, and I'm thinking. Oh, that was I wanna take you home tonight.
Well, Seven Bridges Road is drop D.
So
you
anyways,
need more than one finger though.
Drop D, very cool tuning. It's most people's very first tuning. All right. Oh, Greg is watching and he says, digging through some gear, I found an old Line 6 Uber metal. Uber indeed. So that being said, drop D is a fabulous first tuning, and it doesn't have to just be for metal. I was just being cheeky, but because you have songs like Black Water by the Doobie Brothers, that was in drop D.
It doesn't have to just be for metal. I was just being cheeky.
That's me.
So metal.
Because I'm metal. You can tell.
This is not the metal show. This is not a metal show. Yeah, drop D is great. What about Dadgad?
Okay, so Dadgad is
all
for
you Jimmy Page nuts,
or for dads like me. Okay, so Dadgad is very similar to, well, really. Hey, next slide there, garçon. There we go.
There you
so
go.
there's Dadgad.
Oh yeah, you got it up there.
So what Dadgad is effectively is you start with the drop D, then let's take your high E and drop it down to match the low one. Then we're going to take our A string, okay, and match this one. Now, probably the most, well, I don't know, like the first Dadgad guy I ever heard. Was Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
So he loved Dadgad tuning. A lot of Led Zeppelin songs are in alternate tunings. And so Dadgad is just a classic and fun tuning to play around with. We, by the way, want to apologize to Jimmy Galloway for not having him on tonight's program. He obviously is watching, which is awesome. And he said, if only y'all knew a guy that specializes in alternate tunings and partial capos.
Yeah, he lives right in Cleveland, Tennessee. Doyle Dykes.
Oh, psst, burn. No, Jimmy is awesome, phenomenal guitar player, and he is very good. We plan on having Jimmy on a future episode, which is why I didn't call him on this one. But that being said, Dadgad, super fun tuning. Next slide so you can see my little picture that I included for this one. There he is, Jimmy Page. So anyways, so yeah, with that, I know that obviously Kashmir was in Dadgad. Yeah. Most of their songs are like Hobbits and Citrus and stuff like that. So I mean,
I always think of Pixies anytime I hear that little strummy thing. Yeah.
Another thing that you can do with alternate tunings is you can make the song your own. Okay, like I used to. Obviously, I shouldn't say used to. We've had bands come into the shop and they write down their tunings because they're so off the wall. They're not a standard tune. And I asked him, why do you do it that way? And he goes, to make it more difficult for other bands to copy us. Which, okay, here's the thing. Now this was this is in the metal genre, or gent perhaps. It was pretty Cookie Monster, okay? But they were hitting it pretty good. But hey, if that's what it makes to make your sound unique, go for it, man. That's the whole point of this show, to give you guys a little bit of, you're not tethered to your standard tuning. You can play around with it some and have some fun with this type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's right. When you're talking about the topic, that's the first thing I thought of was the first, guitar clinic I went to. Doyle was there, and he talked about people giving him crap about, oh, you just tune it that way so it's easier to play, and his response, and he wasn't quite this catty, but it was like, oh, so you're saying you can come play what I just played without any problem, right? Because we got it tuned easier.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, it didn't work like that. So you're just exploring. So I don't know, alternate tuning. If you found a sound you like, you don't have to be stuck with the 6 strings that you're given. You can tune them any way you want to. We were talking about Nashville tuning. Replacing the tops with much lighter gauge. You get a real shimmery.
Yeah, we actually started
end.
keeping those strings in the shop.
Yeah, so you double track a standard guitar with a Nashville strung guitar on top. Double track that take, and it's a It's like bigger than a 12-string sound.
It's awesome.
It's almost like
awesome.
a mid-side recording. But yeah, if it sounds good, it is good, right? So.
And if you're playing, you're winning. Okay.
Hopefully that's what we're trying to get to.
We just want you to create more, and we just want you to experiment more with this kind of stuff. And we're just trying to show you some neat little stuff. So now, as I said, we're having to try to keep this tethered because this is such a broad topic and so on. So the last tuning we're going to go over is, I guess, what we call open G tuning.
We have to at least, there's no point here, but we have to at least say Michael Hedges.
Yeah,
we have
phenomenal
to say Michael
talent,
Hedges.
Gone too soon. Okay, so open G tuning. Open G is a awesome tuning, okay, and this is one of those that you hear a lot with, I guess you'd say, blues style music, but also country and so on. We brought with us a Resonator guitar. Now, this one is actually manufactured by Dobro, so we can actually call this one a Dobro, but the proper term is a Resonator guitar, because what gives it its unique sound is the metal resonator pan underneath the bridge. And there's different brands of resonators, so Dobro is a brand. Now, that being said, with a Resonator style guitar, they're traditionally played with a slide. And so we had brought a few different slides here. They can be made from, this one's copper. No, this one's brass, never mind.
Who makes this one? This is a cool one.
That one, I'm going to be kicked for this. It's made by hand from this guy. I actually got it in Nashville.
It's not like a, Coruscant ball or whatever. It's got a heavier bevel, but it's open. Mm-hmm. But it's nice. I don't know, man. This is
and another one that's like that. That's see, what he's talking about is like this example. This brass slide here. It is perfectly it's just a piece of pipe. Okay, that is the same diameter on both sides. All right, but the problem is that your finger tapers. It's wider at the bottom than it is at the top. So, which is often the case when you put a slide on there, it gets about halfway down the knuckle, and it's over. Okay, so some people go, it's just not comfortable. I don't care for that or whatever, which is perfectly fine. So the company that made the one that Jamie's playing with there, I don't know if they're still making them. I don't know, but this is one that we actually do sell. It's made in Colorado. It's called, appropriately, the Rock Slide. Okay.
Neato.
And what they've done here is they have, and I know you can't see this in it, but you can see the shape is more of a taper, like the human finger, versus a perfectly straight traditional slide. And inside, the glass is blown so that it grips your finger, and so it actually comes all the way down your finger. Additionally, you can see this slight little cut right here. That cut allows your knuckle to turn, so that it's more comfortable, and the more narrow diameter grips your fingertip.
Technology, man.
Additionally, one last little thing. There's a little divot right here. And that little divot is for gripping it with your next finger there. So, because you often with slide, you'll have one finger that's designed to kind of dampen the overtones of the string that you're playing. So, with a slide now, if you play it on standard tuning, okay, it's difficult, okay, to play a slide because you can try to bend it a little bit. It's very challenging to do. So you use an alternate tuning when playing slide almost exclusively, okay? So the easiest, well, I shouldn't say easiest. One of the first tunings I learned with playing slide was open G, okay? Now, open G seems a little confusing at first because the way you do it, slide please, is you can see that both the high and low strings are tuned to D. So you might be confused and thinking, well, wait a minute, why isn't this G? But it's because the notes that are made in it are the notes that are used in a G chord or whatever. So the way you do it, you use your 3rd fret of your B string here, and you bring your, okay, and then then you bring this dot to G. And then your low string to D. So now, this is what it sounds like. Now you take your slide and listen to this. Pretty cool.
Yay, toys.
And so the neat thing about having an open chord like this is it's easy to know that, well, your different chord changes, all you got to do is just press all the strings together. So there's your 1, your 4, your 5, and repeat, right?
You still just need one finger, but you need a really strong finger.
Exactly. Hey, that'd be a great James Bond name for you.
Strong finger.
Strong finger, yeah.
Heck yeah.
So this right here, when I was learning some of these little blues licks, was the tuning I always liked. You know, you could do the... Okay, sloppy as heck. I'm sorry, I didn't practice. But I mean, that being said, it's just a fun tuning where you can work on your rhythm and just have fun with this slide and go to town. Now, you use it with a Resonator guitar, and it really takes on a life of its own. Because now the Resonator...
That's not the note.
Sounds great.
These are fun, man.
Oh, I know. They're
fun.
so much fun. But see, the neat thing with a Resonator, you can buy what's called a round neck or a square neck. Square neck is primarily used in that bluegrass style. The round neck, you can play like a traditional guitar.
Yeah.
And so, in that open G tuning is very commonly used in the traditional square neck style of dobro or Resonator guitar as well. So whether you play bluegrass or country, it's the same licks and the same tuning that you use in the old Delta blues style stuff as well. So again, it's not, it just takes a little bit of creativity and fun, and you can have a big time with alternate tunings and with these different guitars. Yeah, additionally, if you put it on an electric guitar and add a little hint of overdrive, oh man, it is awesome. That's your George Thorogood tone right there.
Bonnie
So and Bonnie Raitt, and you know, any number of
Derek plays open tuning, right?
I want to say yes, but not on all songs.
Yeah,
because
he's got some that are standard tune.
And sometimes Derek will have just, and I act like I'm his friend or something like that. I enjoy his music. But he'll see a guy will have just a small size pinky slide. They'll be playing in standard, and then instead of bending a note, they'll just slide with a little overdrive. Oh, the effect is so cool. And you definitely need to try it.
That's like Lars Metz, man. He plays with the pinky slide. So he's got he plays behind like Sonny Landreth.
Oh, man. Sonny Landreth. Check that guy out.
Yeah.
Native Son, one of my favorite tunes that he does. But anyways, so again, this show is really just to try to inspire you guys to try some stuff. When you come into the store and you go, this guitar's tuned weird, it might be supposed to be that way, but there's no rules when it comes to your creativity. So mess around with the tunings, and even if it's like that one band that said they did it to throw off the scent of other bands, I remember, we were talking about this earlier, there was a popular band called the Gugu Dolls back in the 90s that used an alternate tuning in one of their biggest hits. And all of us kids were trying to figure this stupid song out, and we're breaking strings and whatnot. Well, here it turned out later that he was using custom string gauge sets to accomplish that tuning.
Oh, and he fooled the children.
He fooled me, and I was a child. Still am. What am I kidding? You know, you're always somebody's child.
If you want to know if your band's gonna make it, like, don't tune a guitar out of tune, but tune it to an alternate tuning right before your set starts, and let your lead guitar player have to like figure some mess out real quick.
Oh, they'll love you.
I'll promise you the song, y'all never play the song that way again.
But no, it's a lot of fun. And so try to, go do some alternate tunings, right away and mess around with it and see how it changes your thing.
Yeah,
but
man.
we do sell all this stuff obviously at the shop and are always there to help you, figure this kind of stuff out and so on. So, but again, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week with another fun topic. And, but otherwise, don't be a stranger. Make sure to like and share and blah, 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 blah.
Click buttons.
Click buttons.